Hello everyone, this is Roxas1359. Welcome back to Let's Play Ape Escape Pumped and Primed. Last time we ended up tackling more of the tournament with Natalie. This time we're going to take care of the tournament with the Professor. Or try to, I will say, because the Professor is hard mode when it comes to the tournament because he's not as agile as some of the other contestants. And rightfully so, he is old. So, it's time for Stun Clubs 2. Luckily, we don't have to deal with Pipitron Red, who does more damage with the Stun Club, which would be very bad, but we have to deal with Natalie, who has ridiculous reach, and apparently likes to beat up her grandfather. And we also have to deal with Helga, who is very good with the Stun Club because she can parry. So, let us go right over here, and let us fall off the edge with Helga 2. So who is Helga, you're probably wondering. Helga is a new character who actually is probably one of the most plot important characters in this game. Yeah, I'll explain more of that later once we get into more intermissions. But just know that Helga and the Pipitrons are your source of plot if you want to make sense of the plot of Ape Escape Pumped and Primed. But let's charge up and attack, and I gotcha! Speak of this to no one. So, what was that attack that I just did there that I ultimately failed at? Well, if you hold in the R3 button, you can charge up an attack. Every character has a special charge up attack that they can do by holding in the R3 button. In the Professor's case, he swings his mallet forward, but unfortunately, it's very hard to do. Professor is very hard to use for his Stun Club. So, let's take out this Pipitron. Get over here, Pipitron Blue. Come on. Oh, come on. That should have hit you. Would have hit anyone else, but unfortunately the Professor's hitboxes are rather odd, considering how large he is. Alright. So it's an even match. Pipitron Blue seems to have the upper hand, but luckily I have a mallet. I have a mallet, and I have the power of Thor on my side. Go, Thor. And goodbye. There we go. That takes care of that. Now the Professor... Yeah, I will agree, Professor. That was rather hard. Now the Professor has... well, it's a little bit difficult to hit with him. He does, I believe, do a little bit more damage than average person to make up for the fact that he has the one jump and his hitbox is so odd. But... Dragonfly 2, collect the most coins. Guess what? I have the best recovery in this whole entire game. I have the air game as the Professor. I am the air game. And he also flies extremely fast as well, so there's always that plus. Now, I believe this is actually the last... Is this the last of the coin ones that we're going to do like this? I think so, because after this we're going to be getting into primarily stuff. Now this would have been good for Pipitron Blue, but the AI decided to choose Pipitron Blue for the Stun Club match, and instead Pipitron Red for this. And look at that recovery! Any other character would have fallen off the cliff and lost coins. Not the Professor, not with his godlike recovery. So the Professor has his moments. It's just he's pretty much the hard character to use in this game. Which is funny enough because while he's one of the hardest characters to use in this game, so is his assistant, Cassie. Cassie is actually rather difficult to use if you don't know how to use her properly, and believe me, it took me a while to master being able to do things with Cassie when compared to other characters. Monkey, Helga, if I were to get into the terms of, say, clones, which this game does have clones characters, Helga and Spike are pretty similar to one another, as is the regular Pippo Monkey. Pipitrons and Team Monkey are similar to one another, and that's pretty much where it ends. The Professor is unique all of his own because of the fact that he has the one jump and no other character has just one jump. But that also doesn't mean that there might be also... I don't know about Jake, because one thing I can get into now that we have fought Jake is once you beat the game in story mode, you actually unlock Jake in the multiplayer mode of the game. He doesn't get a character edit, so you can't play through the tournament with Jake, unfortunately. That wouldn't come until Ape Escape Million Monkeys, which a lot of people are under the impression that Million Monkeys is, you know, another spin-off game. Believe it or not, Million Monkeys is actually a sequel to Ape Escape Pumped and Primed. Yes, it actually is. In terms of its story, it's a sequel because the main villain of this game is also available inside of there. But that's another thing we'll get into in the future once I eventually get to Million Monkeys, which won't be for quite a while, I hope, because translating that's going to be a pain and it's going to be a nightmare for me. But it pretty much uses a lot of things. Oh, geez. I lost a lot of coins there. Godlike recovery, go! Oh no, Professor. No! I wanted the power of Thor! And great, the Pipitron's invisible. Now we're screwed. Run, Professor, run! Alright. Coins, 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 coins for me. Greed, greed, greed! No. I love how the AI started to avoid me the moment I grabbed the fire power up. They're like, oh geez. Now, if Helga's not careful, she'll actually end up dying inside this, which would be a rarity for me because very rarely do characters die inside of these challenges for me. Then again, these things could happen. I mean, the AI is competent, but it's not entirely competent. Oh, there goes Helga. She's out and is guaranteed 4th place. So, believe it or not, that's actually the first time that's ever happened to me while playing this game. And I've played this game quite a bit back in the day. Because this was before Ape Escape 3 came out, and this was the closest thing I got to another Ape Escape besides Ape Escape 2. And as viewers of my channel know, I don't like Jimmy. Now, Natalie is starting to build up coins, so she needs to stop that. And I'm losing coins left and right. All right, so 240. I'm losing lots of coins here. I lost quite a few coins there. But I can make it up. No, Pipitrons, no. Lightning! Nobody gets those coins. Looks like we got some coins right here, so why don't we fly on over it? Perfect! Good to know. Seems the professor's having fun in his friend's virtual world because remember, in the last part, we ended up finding out that it was the professor's friend who ended up saying that he created this, and this is some of the most important technology in the world. So this is being used quite a bit by a lot of people, and there are spectators that are watching. It's just the game didn't render them. Plus, you can hear the crowd cheering. All right, so Slingshot. Now this time, we're at a disadvantage because another hard thing about the professor is the fact that, unfortunately, he has very limited range with his slingshot. I mean very limited range. I mean, why is it so limited? This is where the professor starts to get into really bad territory. And look at how much health he lost, too. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Also doesn't help that we have the Pipitrons in this one. And they're using Pipitron Yellow, which is a little bit of a hard thing for me because Pipitron Yellow is special with the slingback shooter. So with the slingshot, he's able to do quite a lot more damage than other people normally can, which gets into more of the specialty characters and all that jazz, which is rather annoying. But looks like we're gonna lose this one, but we can't retire now. So we're going to lose this one. It's gonna be the first one that we lose. Way to beat up the old man, Pipitron. And since we didn't win, we don't even get a monkey fan. And look at this. We're now in 2nd place. So we need to get first in this next match, otherwise we lose. And it's Boats 2. I hope you're ready for that awkward boating control. I know I am. No fair, they're not riding inside a boat, they're riding on a boat. I demand the Pepetrons be disqualified immediately. So, as you can see, the professor is using a military boat, which actually gets into the whole funny thing that I like to think that pretty much the headcanon, my headcanon is that the Metal Gear universe and the Apescape universe taking place in the same Earth. I just like that headcanon. For those that are wondering, I'm going off entirely based on Snake versus Monkey and Metal Gear Solid from Apescape 3. But let us get to the end. Unfortunately, the invisibility can be a detriment until you realize that for everyone, they are in the center of the camera at all times. So even when you're invisible, you can still keep track of people, which is good. The game has decent camera at times. I still would prefer if, say, the D-pad could be used to control the camera, but unfortunately it can't. I mean, it would have been great if it could, especially since I figured that was the case inside Ape Escape 1 and it worked so well. Okay, so everyone's taking the shortcut, I'm taking the long way around, and somehow I've come out in first. That totally works. And the Pipitrons are in second, so if I do not book it, I will end up losing this. And that would be quite bad. Come on, gotta go fast, and finish. For some odd reason, the finish sound effect ended up glitching out. But yes, Professor, that was actually rather easy for once. And you got a present! Professor got a present for once, and we passed. Barely, but we passed. That fourth place nearly screwed us. Alright, so let's go on, but we have another boss coming.
What is this place? Again? What's going on? It's a freeway. Huh? Wow! I can't believe it! That's a Goliath armor with legs! Don't you get it, Spike? Do you realize what this means? That thing finally walks with 2 legs! It's a technological advancement and evolution!
Goliath? Then that means...
That's right. It is I, Spectre.
So that's Spectre?
Surprised? My best masterpiece, Super Goliath, is finally complete. All right, you monkeys. I have come here to train you myself. Listen up. Humans are not the smartest creatures here. It is you, the monkeys with peak point helmets. And today, I shall prove it by making the monkeys dominate the tournament. It will also prove that as the leader of the monkeys, I am superior above anybody else. Huh? What? What are you doing? Who are you? You are not familiar to me. Who are you? I don't recognize you. I cannot allow this! This is unforgivable! I don't know which group you belong to, but I won't stand for this! Except for my monkeys, prepare to meet your doom!
Oh boy. So it seems we have to face off against Spectre and his Goliath armor. Could have sworn it was called Gorilliac. In fact, I'm pretty positive it's normally called Gorilliac. But yes, boss fight time. Let's do this, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much the Ultra Goliath armor will keep walking. It will do a multitude of different attacks such as fire missiles. honestly, for Gorilliac designs, this is one of my favorites. Now, you're probably also wondering who voices Spectre inside this game, because it's clearly not any of the same voice actors. It's actually Crispin Freeman, better known for his Itachi Uchiha from the Naruto series when it comes to video games, pretty much doing all that. I don't know if he does it in the dub as well. He also did Speedy inside the Young Justice series, so I will forever hear him as Speedy. Just forever as Speedy. So we're fighting Speedy. All right, so. And I have to admit, for his Spectre performance, it's not that I don't like it, I personally prefer Apescape 3's Spectre as being my favorite one, but this one's pretty good, actually. I have to admit, I really like this Spectre for his voice, especially because he's given some funny cutscenes inside this game later on. But looks like the professor's got to take on the Gorilliac armor by himself. This is where having 2 players would be helpful, but since I'm doing this by myself, you know, plus also the professor's doing pretty good damage. And there we go. That takes care of Ultra Goliath. It had to go. Its planet needed it.
That was easy.
Say that again, Professor, because you were kind of getting your butt kicked by it. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, guys, I'm going to end it off right here. This has been Roxas1359. Next time, we're going to be continuing with the tournament with a new character.